And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
Hey everyone and welcome. In this video we're going to be having a look at the war. I know, we're always going on about the war at the moment, but it's all that's in the media and I don't like being lied to, as I'm sure you don't either. This time we're going to be having a look at Bozo Johnson, as he was at Blackpool at a Conservative conference, and he said a few words that I find quite irritating, mainly because I've looked into a little bit more of this, and it's obvious propagandizing in my honest opinion. Western nations must never renormalize relations with Putin, Boris Johnson has said, warning that Russia's war in Ukraine has created a moment of choice for the world between freedom, remember that word, and oppression. I'd like to say, whose freedom and oppression, Boris? You weren't so unhappy with Australia or New Zealand's freedom and oppression. Maybe America's freedom and oppression. Oh no, nothing said about that. It's just Putin's freedom of oppression. Let's have a listen to what he actually said at this conference, shall we? And then we'll break it down a little bit, and then we'll just have a look at just how free or oppressive Ukraine really is. Let's have a listen.
With every day that Ukraine's heroic resistance continues, it is clear that Putin has made a catastrophic mistake.
How so exactly, Boris? Go on. Looks like they're doing quite well to me. It doesn't look like a mistake to me. It looks like it was very well calculated and planned out. Am I wrong, everyone?
And you have to ask yourself why he did it. Why did he decide to invade this totally innocent country? He didn't really believe that Ukraine was going to join NATO anytime soon.
He did, and so did Zelensky, by all accounts. And what did you do? Threw him to the wolves, didn't you? After pushing him to prod the bear over and over, because NATO would have his back. NATO would. And then what happened when the crap hit the fan? Words. That's what happened. Let's move on, shall we?
He knew perfectly well there was no plan to put missiles on Ukrainian soil. He didn't really believe the semi-mystical guff he wrote about the origins of the Russian people. I know whether you read it, Nostradamus meets Russian Wikipedia. I think that wasn't what it was about. I think he was frightened of Ukraine for an entirely different reason. He was frightened of Ukraine because in Ukraine they have a free press, and in Ukraine they have free elections. And
we'll have a look at that very shortly.
Every year that Ukraine progressed, not always easily, towards freedom and democracy.
Not always easy. Is that an admission that he knows something's wrong with the Ukraine?
And open markets. He feared the Ukrainian example, and he feared the implicit reproach to himself. Because in Putin's Russia, you get jailed for 15 years just for calling an invasion an invasion. And if you stand against Putin in an election, you get poisoned or shot. And it's precisely because Ukraine and Russia have been so historically close that he has been terrified of the effect of that Ukrainian model on him and on Russia. And he's been in a total panic about a so-called color revolution in Moscow itself. And that's why he's trying so brutally to snuff out the flame of freedom in Ukraine. And that's why it is so vital that he fails.
Now that sort of rhetoric, in my opinion, is tantamount to warmongering. We've seen this before, haven't we, with Blair and the rest, where they'll quite happily lie to your face. Now he said, are we ready for this one? Ukraine has a free press, and in the Ukraine they have free elections. So I thought we'd have a quick look. But before we do, I thought I'd bring your attention to the words of George Orwell. Keep this in mind, everyone. Every record has been destroyed or falsified. Every book rewritten. Every picture has been repainted. Every statue and street building has been renamed. Every date has been altered. And the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. And now I bring you to this. This was on Twitter, and I do go into it a little bit deeper, but listen to what's said. Hold on a second. So Zelensky has just suspended all opposition parties, free elections everyone, and basically declared himself dictator, as America is sending him billions, and the UK, according to Boris Johnson, and we need to do more, to save democracy. So I thought we'd have a quick look into that, but before we do, let's find out. It seems a bit hyperbolic to say that he's made himself a dictator. So what does dictator mean? It means someone who rules the country with complete power, has complete control over the armed forces, and destroys any political opposition. And then we bring you to this. President Zelensky suspends 11 political parties in the Ukraine over Kremlin collusion. Where have we heard that one before, everyone? So not only has he got rid of all of the opposition, he's actually got rid of the main opposition party as well. Is that not dictatorship? On top of that as well, he's also signed a decree merging all national television channels into one platform run by him. Are we seeing a trend end here, anyone. Now let's not forget, the removal of a free press and the removal of free democracy is exactly what the Nazis did in 1933. Adolf Hitler took power in 1933. The Nazis controlled less than 3% of Germany's 4,700 papers. The elimination of the German multi-party political system brought about the demise of hundreds of new papers produced by outlawed political parties. So they're just going to start doing, you're associated because this, and this, and therefore you're gone. Or you're doing as you're told. It also allowed the state to seize the printing plants and equipment of the Communist and Social Democrat parties, which were often turned over directly to the Nazi Party. In the following months, the Nazis established control or exerted influence over the independent press organs. So he's doing exactly the same as the Nazis, even though there's no Nazis. There's no Nazis in the Ukraine. It's not a Nazi nation, and anyone that thinks such is a conspiracy theorist. George Orwell was right, wasn't he, everyone, when he said every record has been destroyed or falsified? Thank you, George. We didn't think it was an instruction manual. We thought it was a warning, but obviously the leaders don't see warnings as actual warnings. Obviously they see it as we can do it better. Absolute joke. Let me know what you think though, everyone. I'm sick to death of being lied to. Are you? Stay sane. I'll see you on the next one.